Welcome back, guys. They say nice guys finish last. And maybe that's true until they decide they're done being nice. Today's story: a man who thought he was giving his wife everything she needed until she told him he wasn't enough, that he was too soft. Well, she wanted something harder. She had no idea what she was asking for. Let's get into the story. I never considered myself a weak man. I worked hard, I provided, I listened. Maybe I wasn't the type to raise my voice, slam doors, or throw my weight around. But I thought that was a good thing. Turns out, my wife didn't see it that way. I remember the exact moment she said it. It was late, we were in bed, and she let out this sigh, the kind that tells you something is coming. You know what your problem is? She murmured, turning to face me. I glanced at her. Enlightened me, she ran a finger down my chest, but her eyes held something else. Pity. You're too soft, she whispered. I laughed it off. Thought it was a joke. It wasn't. Over the next few days, those words clung to me like a shadow. Too soft. I replayed every argument where I backed down just to keep the peace. Every time I let things slide because I thought love meant patience. Every moment where I put her happiness above my own. And it hit me. She didn't respect me. She loved me, sure. But respect? That was something else entirely. So I made a decision. I was going to show her just how hard I could be. The first step, I stopped being available. The moment she noticed, I knew I was onto something. I wasn't waiting around for her texts. I wasn't initiating plans. I wasn't chasing. At first, she acted like she didn't care. But then, she started checking in more, asking where I was going, who I was with. I'd just smirk, give her vague answers, let her wonder. And that was just the beginning. Because if she thought I was too soft before, she was about to see a whole new side of me, one she never saw coming. The first time I really knew my plan was working was the night she reached for me in bed, and I didn't move. We'd had a routine for years. I was always the one initiating. A hand on her hip, a kiss at her shoulder. She'd respond, or she wouldn't. But that night, I didn't reach. I didn't ask. And after a long pause, she did. I felt her fingers skim my arm. Slow, testing, like she wasn't sure if she had permission anymore. I kept my breathing even, didn't react. And then she said it. Babe, are you mad at me? I let silence stretch. A power move. Then, finally, I turned my head slightly and shrugged. Nope, just that. No explanation. No reassurances. And damn, did that get to her. She turned on her side, propping herself up on one elbow, watching me. She hated not knowing what was in my head. I could feel the tension roll off her in waves. And that's when I knew. She was starting to chase me. The next few days, I took it even further. I kept up the gym routine. I went out more, dressed sharper, came home late, and I stopped over-explaining everything. She'd ask where I was going. I'd smirk and say out. With who? People. At first, she played it cool, acted like she didn't care. But then, the questions started coming faster. Then came the clinginess. The sudden, I miss you texts. The way she hovered in the kitchen while I made coffee, like she was waiting for me to notice her. She was feeling the shift. She just didn't know how to stop it. One night, she came out in this little satin robe, one I know she only puts on when she wanted something. I was at the table, scrolling my phone, pretending not to notice. She leaned against the counter, playing with the tie at her waist. So, she started, tilting her head. Who's been keeping you so busy? I looked up, took my time, and then I smiled. A slow, knowing smile. Why? I asked. You jealous? Her lips parted slightly. Her fingers tightened on the fabric. No, she replied. I looked at her before responding. Liar. She thought she had all the power in this marriage. She thought she could say I was too soft and that I'd just take it. But now she was the one second-guessing. Now she was the one fighting for my attention. And I wasn't done yet. Not even close. The shift between us had settled in now. She wasn't rolling her eyes anymore. She wasn't brushing me off, acting like I was just there. No, she was trying. Hard. But me? I wasn't making it easy. And that was driving her crazy. It hit its peak one Saturday night. She had planned this whole romantic evening. Candles, music, her in some little red dress that I knew she picked out just for me. But the old me? The one who would have melted the second she batted her lashes? That guy was dead. So I played it cool. Complimented her, but lightly. Just enough to let her know I noticed, but not enough to let her win. During dinner, she kept reaching for my hand across the table. I let her, but then I pulled away first. And every time I did, her eyes darkened just a little more with frustration. She wanted me to break, to give in, to go back to the way things used to be. But I was too far in now. I was in control. And she was just along for the ride. After dinner, she pressed up against me in the hallway, fingertips tracing the hem of my shirt. "You look good tonight," she murmured, lips just inches from mine. I smirked. "I know." She let out a soft, annoyed huff. "Cocky now, huh?" I tilted my head, eyes locked on hers. "Maybe, but you like it." Silence. A beat too long. Then she bit her lip, fingers tightening against my chest. Oh yeah, she liked it all right. But I wasn't giving in just yet. She reached up, trying to kiss me first. I turned my head at the last second. Let her lips just barely graze my jaw before I pulled back. Her breath caught. Her hands fisted at my shirt. "What are you doing?" She whispered. I ran my thumb along her cheek, slow and deliberate. "What you wanted, remember? I'm not being soft anymore." Her pupils were blown wide now. She hated it. She loved it. She needed it. And that's when I knew she was mine again. She wasn't the one pulling the strings anymore. I was. And as much as she wanted to deny it, as much as she wanted to act like she was still in control, she wasn't. She had given that up the moment she said I wasn't hard enough. Now, she was begging for the man she had pushed away. And I was just getting started. The thing about power, once you have it, you start to wonder why you ever gave it up in the first place. And by now, I had all of it. Emma was chasing, begging, desperate for my attention, my affection, my touch. And me? I made her wait. I made her earn it. Every time she reached for me, I pulled back just enough. Every time she leaned in for a kiss, I let her lips barely brush against mine before I stepped away. And every time she looked at me with those wide, pleading eyes, I just smirked, let her feel the hunger. The same hunger she had forced me to sit with for years. It had been weeks now, weeks of her shifting in her seat whenever I walked by. Weeks of her trying to catch my attention in ways she used to ignore me for. Weeks of her finally understanding what it felt like to be the one craving. And then, the breaking point. It happened late one night. We were in bed. The room was quiet except for the soft hum of the city outside. She turned to me, voice barely above a whisper. "Why won't you just touch me already?" I didn't answer right away. Just let the silence stretch, heavy and thick between us. Then I finally turned to her, my voice calm, even. "Why? You didn't seem to care before." Her brows furrowed. "What do you mean?" I exhaled, shaking my head. "You really don't get it, do you?" She opened her mouth, then closed it. For the first time in a long time, she looked small. I sat up, running a hand through my hair. "Do you know what it's like? To be the guy who's too soft? To be the one who tries, who gives, who loves, only to be brushed off like he's nothing." Her throat bobbed. "Do you know what it feels like to be mocked for it? To be seen as less of a man, just because I treated you right?" She swallowed hard. "I never meant it like that." I let out a sharp, humorless laugh. "Didn't you?" Silence. She had no answer. Because deep down, she knew. She knew she had pushed me away. She knew she had let her own pride, her own arrogance, make her think I'd always be waiting in the background, always there for her no matter how she treated me. But now she wasn't so sure. I stood up, grabbing my keys. Her head snapped up. "Where are you going?" I shrugged. Out, out, but it's late. I smirked, and her lips parted. Her breathing was uneven now, her hands gripping the sheets. She was panicking. Good, because for the first time in our marriage, she was the one who felt powerless. She sat up fast. Wait, let's just talk about this. I turned at the door, tilting my head. Funny, that's all I ever wanted to do, and you never had time for it before. She opened her mouth, but I didn't wait. I just walked out, and the sound of that door clicking shut behind me, that was the sound of me winning. I didn't go far, didn't even have a real destination. I just wanted her to wonder, to sit there in that big, empty bed, thinking about what she had done, thinking about how easily I could leave, thinking about what it would feel like to lose me for real. And when I finally came home hours later, she was still awake, sitting in the dark, eyes puffy, fingers ringing together. The moment I stepped inside, she rushed to me. Where did you go? I leaned against the doorway, arms crossed. Why does it matter? Her breath hitched. Of course it matters. You just left. I cut her off. Now you know how it feels. Her face crumpled. That was when I saw it. The regret, the understanding, the fear. She finally got it. Finally understood what it felt like to be on the other side. And in that moment, I decided that maybe, just maybe, I'll let her have me back. Someday. And that, my friends, is how you take your power back. Not by begging, not by yelling, not by proving yourself over and over to someone who won't see your worth. No, you take it back by making them feel the loss, by letting them sit in the emptiness they created. And by the time they realize what they threw away, it's no longer their choice to fix it. It's yours. See you next time. And remember, control isn't something you ask for. It's something you take.